Hey, good morning. This is Guillermo Carmona, the Director of Communications for Gadsden ISD, and I want to welcome you to the SmartSites training. We have a lot to cover, but I've designed this training course so that you do not have to sit and listen to it in its entirety unless you are absolutely a beginner. I do recommend listening to all components, but you're more than welcome to jump around to the sections that you find most useful. Let me just give you a quick overview of this document that we'll be using to guide our work today. So I will be putting links to the sections of the video here. And so if you're seeing this in the future, there'll be some slight changes to this document, but we'll be covering the essential tools and the platforms that you need to be successful in editing your website, updating your web page. We're going to briefly discuss the best practices for maintaining a website. We'll be talking about accessibility throughout the training, but I'll be explaining a little bit more in depth there. And then you're going to have the opportunity to watch me log in to Parent Square, and then also the SmartSites, and then access the dashboard and give you sort of a rundown, a tour of where everything is located. And that will feed into me walking you through creating three components. We're going to be working with three components. The first one is the column component. The second is the horizontal picture series. And then the third is the spotlight component. And then in order for me to know that you watched this video and you understood the contents, I'm going to have you go ahead and work inside of what we call the Sandbox. So we've created some web pages that are not visible to the public, in which you can practice these three components. So you'll be creating one of each of them. So the horizontal picture series, the column, and the spotlight. You'll name it with your name, and that will be proof to yourself and to me that you understood how to create components and move them around. And then there's going to be, I'll be adding more and more tutorial links at the end here. We've already started by adding a link on if you want to embed your Facebook page into your web page. I've got a link there. And then if you are interested in embedding a Google Sheets version of the calendar, you can click here. And then if you want to link your Google Calendar, you can do that here. But let's get started. Thanks for listening. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to talk to you about what tools and platforms you need access to before even getting started with how to log in. I promise this is going to be very worthwhile. If you do not already have access to these components, get with me. I'm happy to come out and help you. We can schedule some time. I can jump on a Google Meets. I'm here to support. So first off, let me explain to you why we have to log into Parent Square. Well, Parent Square is now the parent company of our SmartSites. So our website used to be owned by a company called Gabbard, but they were bought out by Parent Square. And so now you have to log into Parent Square before you log into SmartSites. And let me quickly show you what that looks like. You'll be using your single sign-on option using the login with Google. If you've let me know ahead of time, we've already given you access. And it is just sort of a plain Jane platform. Yours will look slightly different because I have access to all campuses, but yours will look slightly different. The first time you might not have an add-ons button, but once we get you logged in on both of those websites, you'll be able to click add-ons and then select from the left-hand menu SmartSites. Now, if that doesn't work for you, you can log into Parent Square, but you do not have that link there. It's very simple. You would simply go to our website and whatever page you are managing. So if you're at central office, if you're working on a department, you would log in here. If you're at a campus, so let's say you are at Chaparral Middle School, you would just simply go to your middle school, go to the webpage there and click login at the very bottom. And once you do that, it will recognize that you are already logged into Parent Square and it'll give you access. It's pretty easy. But that's why we're having to log into two sites, essentially, as Parent Square bought them. They also bought Remind, by the way. So on the horizon, there's a possibility that we will be switching to their messaging platform. You'll also need access to Google Calendar. You'll need to know how to use the calendar. Canva for Educators, I'm going to record a very specific and step-by-step video showing you how to claim your account, which is called Canva for Educators. It's a wonderful, wonderful resource. I can't say enough about it. It's going to help you make your website look fantastic, and there's lots and lots of uses for it. And I'm going to show you how to get a free account, and I'll also give you a quick video tutorial on how to use the basic elements in Canva. I also have provided for you a link to our GISD SmugMug account. SmugMug basically hosts our photos. And so Hector Moreno and I have been busy attending events around the district. So it's very likely that we have some pictures or footage of an event at your school. So we want to encourage you to replace the stock photos that are already on your website. For example, if we go to, I've updated the ones on the main web page, but for example, here at Chaparral Middle School, these students are not GISD students. They're just some great looking students from somewhere, so it's stock images. We would like for you to replace them with something that's more current, and we have very high quality, if I do say so myself, very well taken photos for you to use. If you do not find photos from your campus, we've also provided a link to a Google folder that we used before we had the SmugMug account. And this goes back all the way to 2023. So it's very likely that you would be able to find photos from your campus. For example, let's see here. We have the Battle of the Books that happened in 2024. If you click that, you're going to see lots and lots of pictures there. And so feel free to use those photos. As a matter of fact, the more that they get used, the better I feel about it, because we work really hard in documenting events across the district. And then lastly, if you need access to some high quality versions of our logos, just go ahead and contact Hector Moreno. I've got his email linked there. But we have a folder for each level. So middle schools, we have all your logos there. All right, well, let's move on to the next step of our training, which would be talking about website best practices when you're managing the website. Thanks. All right, so the next segment, we're going to be talking about best practices for managing your web page. First off, we want to talk about content consistency. Later on in the video, we're going to show you all the features that, like, say, Canva has to offer. And sometimes there's too many features, so you can definitely clutter your web page with a little bit of too much artistic expression and choice of fonts. So I just want to urge you to keep it simple when it comes to your web page. Use your web page colors, so it's usually tied to your logo and your mascot, and you want to keep those themes. When it comes to accessibility, I want to remind you that just like our buildings have to be accessible to all people, no matter what their accessibility issues are. So for that reason, we have ramps where there are stairs. And for the same reason, when we get to a web page, we have to be very careful that when we post something, we use the features that are built into the website that help people who can't see or who have a hard time seeing. So you're going to hear me talk about contrast. And what that means is you're going to want to design your web page so that the background color is in high contrast to the font. So if you have a black background, you're not going to want to use a deep red or a dark blue. You're going to want to use a very light color, ideally white, right? If you have a black background, you would want white letters, and vice versa. If you have a white background, you wouldn't want to use a yellow or a light green. You want to use a color that's nice and dark, because some people, they can see, but they have trouble seeing. And then you're also going to see some different features that are in the website that allow somebody who's blind to know what is on your web page. So they have a program that reads the web page for them. So if you upload a photo, for example, you have to add what's called alt text, alternative text, so that that screen reader knows that it's come to a photo, and it gives a brief description of what the photo is. We'll also be talking about scheduling components. Components are just every little item that's on your webpage is a component. Scheduling them is a very good idea because our website's too easy to use. It's too easy to add components, and that makes it so we can put a lot of stuff on there, but you want it to come down, right? So the example I give often is you don't want it to be March and you're still featuring Thanksgiving dinner signups and images. You want to keep it fresh. So if it's November and we're posting pictures, or it's December and we're posting pictures from the holidays and Thanksgiving, you want to schedule those to come off maybe mid-January and then start gearing into more of your spring theme just to keep things fresh from going stale. And then I'm also going to encourage you to use AI. AI is wonderful. I've gotten in the habit of not typing. I talk to it, and it helps me write my alternative text for photos. It helps me write copy. It helps me write everything that I need, basically. It's been a wonderful assistant. But those are just some best practices that I want you to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and move on. The next segment, I'm going to show you how to create an educator's account on Canva and some basics. All right, so now let's look at how to claim your account in Canva, and it's called the Educator's Account, or Canva for Educators. So what you see here on the screen, you're going to want to go to canva.com, canva.com, and you're going to want to choose to use the Google single sign-on using your school email, your GISD email. So in Canva, you can select a lot of different what's called elements, so like pictures, clip art, different types of fonts. And if you do not have the Canva for Educators, they'll have a watermark. And what a watermark means is the image is going to be obstructed. It'll have like lines through it, and it'll say Canva. And if you want it to be nice and clean, you're going to want to make sure that you're claiming the right account. So I go through the steps again. You're going to fill in your school. I used Anthony Elementary as my example. All right, and now we have the confetti. When it asks you, I'm just going to back it up just a tiny bit here. When it asks you to invite your students, I would skip that part. So it says maybe later. Select maybe later. They don't need to have our students' information as of yet. And once you see that confetti, another way to you don't have to invite anybody. And you're going to see that now I'm going to verify. I open up a blank design called a whiteboard, and I'm going to search for images of school buildings. And basically, I'm just making sure that I have it. And I want to bring your attention to the little graduation caps that appear on the pictures. That tells you that you have the Canva for Educators account, and all of those pictures are free to use. So now when I click it, there is no watermark. So that is basically how to claim your Canva for Educators account. Again, you're going to want to, when you log in, just double check. If you still are not sure, you're going to click on Plans and Pricing down at the bottom. So see right here where it says GM, that is where your information is. If you click there, you can go to Plans and Pricing right there. And then it's going to take you to another page. And you're going to want to select. See, you're going to have basically what Canva Pro offers, but you're going to want to click up there in Education. And then Teachers and Schools, Get Verified. And then enter your school information, and you should get the confetti. You'll need your address and the zip code. Well, I hope that is helpful. Now we'll talk about some Canva basics. All right, now let's look at just the basics on using Canva. When you first log in, yours might look slightly different. I've been using this for few years now, so I have hundreds of designs. Designs are just projects. So this is a design. I've done my resume as a design. I've created buttons for our website, and I'm even going to walk you through how to create a short video. You might recognize this icon as what I use to link on the website, but Canva is very, very, very useful. It has lots of uses. So you can, let's see, yours might look more like this, right? When you start at home, this search window here at the beginning is where you start accessing it. One of the most useful things about Canva is that you have access to thousands of templates. So we're just before the 4th of July. So if I were to search for 4th of July flyer, it's going to recommend right here, because I selected templates, it's going to recommend all of these designs. I like to barbecue, and I'll be barbecuing this 4th of July. So I'm going to select this design here by clicking on it. And then it gives you a preview. You can see it or designs that are like it. Oh, I changed my mind. I actually like this one better. So I'm going to go ahead and select customize this template, which literally makes it mine now. So any element, right? This is an element, this little mushroom. We don't have a lot of mushrooms in New Mexico, so I'm going to delete it. The grill, I like the grill, but I'm going to make it a little more prominent because that's what I'll be doing. Oh, and they even had a shadow under the grill. Let's move that over. You can move everything. All of the text is editable. You can change it. And Canva has a wonderful, wonderful feature called Translate. So if I wanted to translate this flyer to Spanish, you may or may not know the words are actually pretty easy to translate. But having to copy and paste each little text area makes it very difficult. So in order to translate it, you're going to go to apps and you're going to search for an app called Translate, and it'll be this app here. You just want to look for a very plain icon. I think that's a Chinese character with an A and a little star. Once you select it, it will appear on your menu here at the side. Now, we'll be covering what this menu does here in a bit, but I really want to just show you how awesome this Translate feature is. I'm going to select the language. When I click translate, it 1,000, 1,000, that quick, it translated the entire design and gave me a second one. Now, there might be some adjustments that you need to make, but it is a pretty good translation. And what I love the best is it keeps the formatting consistent. Remember we talked about consistency earlier? So you can create your design and then let Canva translate it for you. Now, if I'm ready to use this design, let's pretend that I've edited it with the accurate information. Actually, let's add something a little more New Mexico to it. We took the mushroom off. So when you go to designs, that would take you to another design. Elements is where all the cool things live. Here you have shapes, graphics, which would be sort of like drawings. You could also find photos, stickers, animated stickers, videos. You literally can look for. So I'm going to look for barbecue. So we have graphics. If I wanted to see some, I can scroll to the right. But if I click see all, it'll show me all the graphics available. So those are pretty cool. I'm actually going to be making a brisket. So I think maybe I'll click that. That looks like a brisket. And we'll sort of just put that on top. Don't judge me. I'm in a hurry. We can also do videos or photos. I'm not sure why I did that. I'm just going to delete it. You know what? I think we need to personalize this even better, even more. I think we need a photo of the person that's going to be doing the barbecuing. It's only fair. I can upload photos, videos. So that would be right here in my upload section. I've already uploaded some pictures. I was working on, there we go. So I'm a little overdressed for the occasion, but that's okay. Maybe I'll put a chef's hat on. I want to remove this background. Look how easy this is. I've selected the photo because it's outlined in purple. I'm going to use BG Remover, which stands for Background Remover, and 1002. There we go. And I think we need to put a chef's hat on the chef here. So we're going to go back to Elements, and we're going to put, oh, look, it already automatically assumed that I want a chef's hat. And there it is. We can resize it. And we can even turn it a little bit to the side there. Not my best work, don't judge me, but you get the idea. All right, we've got it. Lots of possibilities. You can find videos. If you wanted to make it a video that you were going to, and I think you can remove the background. Yep, you can remove the background to your video. So maybe we have a generic chef. Instead of this chef, we could just delete me and put this guy there. All I'm doing is hitting the delete key on my keyboard. But it's a really powerful tool. Let me show you how you can also create designs for the web page. Let's go back to home. I've already created a design with buttons. So you have, like we were working on Gadsden Elementary's webpage very early on in this process, and they wanted buttons that people could click to view their features. So I know we made the calendar one. We also made one for the counselor referral, and I made this one here very recently. The really great thing about it is you can download those and then put them on a web page. I'll show you how to do that here in a bit. There are just lots of different, let me show you how easy it is to create one. I'm going to duplicate this page, and I'm going to delete all of those elements. Under elements, I'm going to look for the word button. So here we have graphics and we have photos. I'm going to click on see all graphics. And so these are all the different types of buttons. All right, you even have literally a button. I'm going to select one of these rectangular buttons, this hot pink one. Let's say we're celebrating, I don't know, Pink Week. As a matter of fact, let's say that that's what it is. I want to write Pink Week on the button. So I'm going to select text and add a text box. Remember when we said about those high contrast colors, you want to make sure that you can very prominently read Pink Week. A cheat or a tip that I would give is that Canva also has a background effect. Right here under effect, I've selected the words Pink Week. I'm going to select effects. Now I can add shadows, or I can make it, I can do a lot of different things to the text. But see, I like this one background because I can actually put it with the white background if I really want to make sure that it's high contrast. I changed my mind. I don't think it's worth it. It looks better with just Pink Week. And we can also make sure that this photo, when we put it on the website, has that alt text that will appear if they are using a screen reader. Now to download this, just this picture, I could download all of them, but I've got a lot of different pages. So we really just want to download the second page. It's super simple. In the share button, there's going to be lots of options, but we can do this. You're going to download it so that we can upload it to our website. I'm going to select download. Now it's going to give you lots of different file type options. If I click here, you're going to see JPEG, PNG is what they suggest, PDF. I'm going to stick with PNG, and I want to select transparent background. What that's going to do is it's going to remove the white background, and it'll just be the floating button. So if we were to put it on a page that was yellow, you wouldn't have a white square behind the button. It'll be a pink button on the yellow background because this will be gone. Select pages. That when you click that, it pops up. And if you select current page, it'll tell you you're currently on page 2, and now I can download it. All right, and now if I go to my downloads folder, I can double click it. There is my button. And I'll show you here later on in this training how to add that to your website. But before I do that, I want to show you that there's also a very good video editor inside of Canva. So I'm going to click Home. Adding resources to Canva is super easy. So if I'm working on a design and I want to incorporate either photos or videos from outside, I would just, as long as I can get it onto my computer, it's very easy to add it into Canva. You would go to Uploads on the left-hand side menu and click Upload Files, and then you would just be able to select from your folders. So I have a folder filled with graduation photos from Chaparral High School, actually all of our high schools. So let's say I selected that photo, it uploads it. Once it's uploaded, if I click it, it automatically adds it to our design, and then you are able to edit it. I can remove the background like I did earlier. That happens very quickly. You can flip it. Let's say that I wanted the graduate to be on the left-hand side. You can do things like that. You can also do some rudimentary edits as well by adding like adjust right here. You can change the colors on it, the brightness. You can auto enhance, which is pretty handy as a very rudimentary photo editor. It works really well. And then there's also some more fun options, such as you can animate things. There's lots of things, anyways, my point was it's very easy to upload photos, images, screen grabs. For example, I use a lot of these features to create a presentation for, just like you can in Google Slides or in PowerPoint, you can also create a presentation in Canva. I hope this is helpful. And right here, you even have some suggestions on different types of projects that you can create. If you click more, it'll show you all the different types of projects you can make. I'm going to select video here on the side. And they have templates already made for videos. So I'm going to say graduation. I'm going to click out of that. You can also search your designs. I'm going to click right here. And I'm going to say so there it is. If you were making a tribute to the graduating class, I know a lot of elementaries celebrate sixth graders as graduates. So now we have a template to work with. And if I were to play it, hit the play button here, this is what it looks like. And then it has a second page here that you'll see. Boy, that's taking a little too long, isn't it? We'll shorten it. And then there's the resource page. If I want to shorten it, all I can do is just click and shorten it. Isn't that easy? Now I can also bring video into this. So if I go to uploads, instead of uploading a photo, I'm going to upload a video. And I have this wonderful video of the Santa Teresa Elementary when they received their high reliability school rating. I'm going to add it there. I have the audio turned off, but okay, and there we go. I should turn off my Bluetooth so you can hear it. All right, so I'll get the microphone so you can hear. Wave your. Yeah, so I was desperately trying to get the students to interact with me. So I want to remove that audio. Look how easy it is. If I click on the video, I have this toolbar up here. I'm going to click on the speaker, and I'm going to just drop the audio all the way down. Now, I could also, let's say I wanted the video to end here. I wanted to put something in between. If I right-click, I can split the page, and now I can bring in another video. So let's see what other videos I have. Yes, we have this one, which was, I think, at Loma Linda. Yeah. Oh, no, it was Desert Trail. So now my video starts out. Let's just pretend that it makes sense, right? Congratulations to the class of 2025. There's the students congratulating them. And then after a few seconds, it's going to transition to images from Desert Trail. This one has audio. We're going to remove that audio. And if I want to add some music, I can go into elements, and there are audio elements as well. So I'm going to put in the search term kids song. And here's cartoon music. The great thing about this music is it's copyright free, so you're not going to, if you upload it to YouTube, you won't get any strikes or any warnings. It's always too loud for me, so I'm going to click on the audio, go to the speaker, and I'm going to bring the audio down a lot to about 30. And so now we have almost a completed video. It's that easy. If I wanted to add text over the video, I could. Let's say that I wanted to, let's see, just on here, I'm going to split the page because I want the text to appear right here. So I'm going to go to text. It says hello from Desert Trail, but remember that contrast? Here's a good example. It's difficult to read that because the background is not light enough for my dark text. So if I put it on the white, you can see that what it says. But remember that element, that effect, the background effect. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to put, I think a very light yellow. That would work, or white. And now I can make it much larger. And it's that easy to add a text. So now I'm going to back up, and you can see what that looks like. So I could spend a whole day exploring the different functionalities of Canva, but what I want to encourage you, instead of taking a lot of time during this training, is I want you to look at YouTube. YouTube has a lot of different tutorials that are available regarding Canva. And you can even specify for teachers, if you're a teacher, and it'll give you tutorials after tutorials after tutorials, and you can go as quick or as in-depth as you would like. Like this one's just a 6-minute, the top 5 things new teachers should know about Canva. And she, I've seen videos with her. She does wonderful and gives great advice. So I hope that was useful. Now we'll be moving on to the next segment of this, and where I'll actually be logging in and exploring the Parent Square SmartSites platform. All right, so next you're going to watch me. This is going to be the longest section of the presentation, but I want you to encourage you to watch the whole thing, because it really is the meat of our learning. So you're going to want to start at Parent Square, and if I've already known that you need access, you should have an account with Parent Square. If you don't know, feel free to reach out to me via email or text, and as long as your supervisor or your building administrator has said yes, that they want you to have access to your webpage, I will have created that. It's really easy. So you click that, parentsquare.com, I'm already logged in, so let me log out just to show you how easy it is. You will use the Google single sign-on option, and I let my browser save all my passwords, so I'm logged in. If you may or may not have this shortcut to get to the website, if you click add-ons up here in the upper left hand, it will show you SmartSites on the left-hand window. All you have to do is click there, and it will automatically log you in to the page that you manage. So this is what the back side, the editing side of the website looks like. We call it the dashboard. And in order to see the front side, right, what the public sees, you would just click here, View Website. If I want to return to the dashboard, I could click Dashboard. Now here on this dashboard, it can be a little overwhelming. I want you to ignore users. I will be managing users for you. Pages, that actually takes you to the page that you want to edit. And then help has a great assortment of help articles and ways to get help when you need it. So here you can actually search up in the upper right. So let's say you want to, pretend I can spell. So you want to learn about the column component. You can click on that, and it will give you a step-by-step guide on how to use the column component. But yeah, I also want you to think of me as a resource. Say you're working on something, by all means, feel free to text me. I might be able to jump on a Google Meet or schedule a time to meet with you. On the left-hand side, you have administration, which you will not be using. Users, like I said, I will be managing the users for you. Resources is very important. If I click on it, it's going to open 4 options: photos, documents, audio, videos, calendars. This is a very useful section of the dashboard. We are on the dashboard now. Then pages, if I click here, you're going to see all of the pages because I'm in charge of all of them. If you're at a campus and you have campus level, you will have access to all of the pages on your campus. If you work for the district, for a department, you may have only access to your department page. I'm going to scroll down to a page called Sandbox. There's an assortment of those. I'm going to go to Practice Sandbox 3. You're going to see now it does not say dashboard. Now we're actually on a page. So I want you to be very clear, because many times I'll have this question, especially when we first get started. Hey, where are the components? I want to add a component to my page. You have to first be on your page. So if I click Pages, I have a navigation window here on the left-hand side. I can go to my Sandbox. And remember, we're going to be working in Sandbox 3. By the way, that's what a page that's already populated looks like. So this is the back side of our main page, and it already has a lot of components. When you add a component, it's important that you name it so that you can, you'll know what they are on this side. For example, we have the advertisement for the board vacancy, and then I have a website training component on our front page. If you notice, there's an eye icon here with the line through it. What that tells me is that component is turned off. So if we go to the website, you will see the board vacancy. There it is. If I go back to that page, by clicking page layout, edit page layout, I can turn this website training component on. And now I'm going back to the website. And see, now we have the link to the training. So if they click this, it takes them to wherever I program these buttons to go. A lot of our work throughout working in a website is going to be just that. It's called hyperlinking, and you're basically saying when somebody clicks this picture, I want them to go here. So you're going to just add the URL, which is the web address to either your Google Doc, another website, a Google form. It can be an internal page, but a lot of what we are going to do today is just that. So now let's go to our Sandbox. Oh, I want to turn this off. Let me show you another shortcut. So I can go to the page level by clicking here. And now I'm just going to click that. And I'm going to click no, this needs to run till the end of today. So now when we go back, that website training link is no longer there. I want to get to my Sandbox page. I'm going to click Dashboard, Pages, and then scroll down to Sandbox. And we're going to Sandbox 3. It's that easy. Now we're on the back of an empty page, so there's nothing here. You can drag and drop the components. All of the components are listed on the right-hand side. We're going to be working on 3 different types of components: a column, horizontal picture series, and spotlight. I'm going to click columns and you'll see it. It appears right away. See? It's that easy to add a column. Now I'm going to add a horizontal picture series, and I'm going to add the spotlight. So now there's 3 of them. I can manipulate them, and let's say I want the spotlight at the end, and I want columns at the top. I can just simply grab them by those 6 little dots, and then when I've got it where I want it, I can let it go. Sometimes it's a little finicky. There we go. And now it's like that. It's going to default to having the eye with the slash. That means it's not visible, so you can work on it without anybody seeing it. If you want to just peek, you can use this symbol, which is just a preview. It's not going to show you anything because there's nothing in this component, so it's empty. But that's just a preview. You could throw the component away. I just deleted it, so I'm going to add it again. And then when you're ready to edit the component, you would just click this pencil. Now let's go back to the dashboard before we move on, because I want to show you how useful resources is. Photos, this is where you can upload photos that you are going to use on your website. We already have some folders made at the district level. I'm looking for my communications to folder here. Let's say that I wanted to create a new folder. There's this option here at the top. I could just name it. I'm going to name it Communications 3 because we'll be working on Sandbox page 3. So now that I'm ready to upload, because see it says no images, I can click Manage Photos. And now it's as simple as adding an attachment to an email. I can click here and access my graduation photos, which I love to showcase. These are the best. So there we go. We've got one page in there, one photo. The really great thing, and I'm going to say this again when we talk about documents, is that anything that you upload into a folder, into a drawer, now has its own web address. So this image path, I can right click and select copy link address. I know I went fast, but it's a very useful tool. Now I'm going to paste it. So now I could literally share this link. I'm going to copy it. And if I sent it to you via email and you clicked it, it would open up this photo just like that. Isn't that wonderful? It's very useful if you combine that with email or Remind when you're sending things to parents. You're going to see it comes into play even better with a PDF. Speaking of, let's go over to our documents resources. So here we have all of the folders created at the district level. And I'm looking for my communications ones. Once it gets a little large, you might want to use the search bar and the search window on the right-hand side. So here is my folder where I've been uploading documents that I want to use. I'm going to show you how easy it is. I went ahead and downloaded this page as a PDF. You want to avoid using Word docs or Google Docs, Google Sheets. You want to avoid using Excel or Word. Any of those documents would require whoever's clicking on it to have that program. About 90% of our visitors to our websites are doing so via their phone. So you want to use PDFs only. So I download this as a PDF. Okay, I had already done it earlier, so there's going to be 2 copies of that. But now when I go back to my folder, That's my photos folder. Here it is. When I click it, I can go to my downloads. And there it is. Now it does put it in my folder, and it's sometimes difficult to find. I know that we call that SmartSites, so I'm going to look for the word smart. And here's the dates that they were uploaded. So here is my page. I can right click on it. It gives me this menu. I can copy the link address. I'm going to paste that in my Google Doc temporarily just to show you what it looks like. So now if somebody clicks on it, it's going to open up in their web browser. So if you sent this via Remind, it wouldn't go to their downloads. It would open up quickly and beautifully. Watch. So there it is. And now we have the PDF version of our SmartSites training document. The great thing about PDF is that the hot links, those links are still clickable, and it's universal, whether they have a iPhone or a Samsung, it's going to open up in their web browser. Now, I can also use these to link in components, which is what we're going to go to next. I want to get to our Sandbox page, so I'm going to click Dashboard. I'm going to select In Pages. And we're working on Sandbox 3. And here are those components. When you create a component, the first step I always want you to do is to name it. And to do that, I would just open it up by clicking the pencil. And this title is only visible by the people who access the backside. When you create yours, I want you to use your first and last name and then the type of component that it is. That way I can see that you are able to do it. So columns gives you several layout options. I can make a 2-column layout. See how I just did that? I can do the big side with the little side, left small with the right's big, 3 even sized, 4 even sized, and even some more options. And I kind of like this one. So it just depends on what you want to do. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to select just a single column. This should look familiar to you because it does look like a very old school word processing interface. And I can type into here, just if I wanted to use the most simple sort of use for a column component. This is my message to the public. And just like any word processing, I can do whatever you would typically do with a word processing program. I can center it. I can change the size of the font. I can change the font. I can change the color of the font, although I do not recommend it. Let's keep it nice and high contrast. Now, let's say that I've went ahead and I'm done with my message. Now, I want you to get into the habit of scheduling it. It's very easy. You just open the calendar by clicking in that bar. And let's say I wanted it to run for a week. I'm going to click Save. And you're going to see that instead of an I, okay, I poke the I to turn it on. Because if I go to the page right now, it's empty. Now, if I turn it on and we visit, there is my message. Columns is going to be the most useful component because not only can you type in here, but let's say that I wanted to make, to say that when they click this section here, it opens up the document that we just uploaded, right? We just uploaded this document, so I'm going to grab that address by copying it. If I want to go just to this component, I could hit Edit Page Layout and open the component like this. Let me show you a shortcut. If I know I want to edit this component, by hovering over it, you get the green Edit option. If I click that, it opens the component, which makes it just a little bit shorter. So let's take away all the way. So when they click that, I want it to open up the web the web training document that we have on our clipboard. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to use this icon here, which is a link. And then in the URL, which is just another way of saying web address, I'm going to paste that web address that we had. If you remember, I uploaded that document. I click OK, and it's now changed colors. Leave that the same, and we hit save. So now if I go back to the website, there is still my message, but when you click it, it opens up that page that we just uploaded. I'm going to show you another way. If you wanted to add a button, so that instead of it just being floating text, I'm going to click edit here. I'm going to cover using what's called the bootstrap button. So I'm going to paragraph down and let's say that's where I want my button. I'm going to use this icon here, which is a purple box with a white B. And I can simply put the URL here. And then in the text, I can say, what does the button say? I want to say click. Okay. Now, if you notice, it's on a white button. If you want to use your website colors, you can click default. And then I encourage you to use the width 100. It's just going to look a little tidier. I click OK. I want to save that component. And now let's go take a look. Remember, we're on the page side. To see the website, we can just click view website. Or if we wanted it to peek, we could also use this. And now, when they click on that, that's what it'll look like. Let's go visit the website. When they click on the button, it opens up the page. I'm going to show you one more way, because with columns, you can do a lot. I'm going to edit the column. I'm going to add, I'm going to get fancy. I want to do this. So on one side, we have that message, and I want to add a photo in here. So in order to insert a photo in the column, I'm going to use this symbol here, which is just an image symbol. And it'll open up a menu where you can select the folder. At the central office level, there's lots of folders. We had just uploaded that photo from graduation in Communications 3. So now you get a peek into the folder. You select the folder and click Next. Now, the website is using AI to give you a suggested alt tag. Graduates in white gowns and caps standing in a row smiling at the camera. Perfect. I like it. We're going to save it. If we needed to change it, maybe we put graduates from Chaparral High School. You could be a little more specific, but for brevity's sake, I'm going to skip that. Hit save. And then we're going to save again. And then we're still going to edit that picture a bit, but I wanted to show you how nice that looks. So you could have a bunch, you could have 5 buttons here and use that as sort of the graphical feature. I want to edit this because I want to make this picture a button so that if they clicked it, it took them to, you know what? I want them to go to the Smug Mug page because we do have some photos from graduation there. So we're going to go to campus events, graduation ceremonies, and since that is Chaparral High, we're going to select this. I'm going to grab that web address by using Control-C. And now we're going to go back here, edit this component. If I double-click the picture, I get this menu. Now I could change the width of it. Let's say I wanted to make it smaller. And then I could also, in this tab, click link, and I could paste that. Okay, and now I could hit save. So we changed the size, and we added a URL so that if they click on that picture, I actually liked it bigger, better, but now when they hover over it and they click it, it opens up the folder of more photos from graduation. If I wanted to resize it back to its original size, I could go back. I think it was probably in the 900 range. Oh my. Let's just cancel that. We'll cancel the change. I could just re-upload it, right? I can probably do that. Go into Communications 3. Find the picture again. Use their suggested alt tag. And then click Save. Now this picture is not going to be hyperlinked because I skipped that step. But now we've got it back to where it was. And that is 3 ways that you can link. You can link the words, you can add a button, or you can make the picture a button using columns. Now I also want to show you a very, very useful way that you can use columns. One more, I'm going to edit the page layout because I'm going to add another column because you can embed. So we're going to say, we're going to call it the embed column. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. We worked with Principal Barajas over at Desert Trail, and what she did is she embedded the calendar using Google Slides. So we're going to go over to Desert Trail and look at her calendar. She's also embedded some video. It's a wonderful, wonderful touch. So this calendar, however, while it lives in the Desert Trail website, it actually is originally in her Google Slides, in her Google Drive. So if she were to change something on that Google slide, it will automatically update this calendar. So as the year progresses and she adds dates or changes dates, she doesn't have to log into the web page and do it there. She can do it from her Google Slides. One of the great features of embedding Google Slides is that you can set it to where it'll auto start to cycle through like a carousel through each month. She has it set very slow because that makes sense so that you can go to the month that you're wondering about. So I'm going to show you very quickly how to embed. It's easy. It's not difficult at all. I'm going to start with a Google slide myself. I'm going to go to my Google Drive, and I have a presentation that I've already selected. But you could do it with any presentation. So I'm going to look for presentations, and I'm going to search for them. And let's say that I wanted to use this one. This is a presentation I gave to the Equity Council not too long ago. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that I'm done with my presentation. I'm going to change this because I want to show you. All right. What I'm going to look for is publish to web. By clicking help, I'm going to search for publish to the web, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to publish it, and it's going to be visible on the web page. On the web. All right. Now we do not want to share a link. We want the embed option. So I'm going to click embed. And here it's giving me this size, which is actually a really good size, 960 by 569. And the slides are going to move every 3 seconds. I'm going to select here so that the slideshow starts as soon as the people get to the web page. And then I want it to loop. So at the end of the slideshow, I want it to start over. And normally you would just hit publish, but I have already done that, so I could hit stop publishing. I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to show you what the code looks like by dumping it here on my notepad, but there's nothing magic about it. It's just HTML code. Now I'm going to go back to my page, and I'm going to edit it. Now, I need to tell this column component that this is not going to be typing, that it's code. So I'm going to click source, and you're going to see that everything grays out. And now I hit paste. I'm going to schedule it. Let's say that it's going to run all year long. no problem. Let's just have it come down on June 2nd. I'm going to click save. Even though we scheduled it, it's still necessary to make it visible. And now let's look at our handiwork here. Not bad. So every 3 seconds, it's cycling through. I don't like that it's formatted to the left, so I'm going to edit this by clicking the edit button. It takes me right into that component. I'm just going to select it. See how it's blue now? And I'm going to put it in the center. Okay, and then now I hit save. Let's look at it one more time. What I want to show you is, remember when I took the word gracias off of the bottom? So if I come back here, let's say that I'm going to, on the second page, let's add a picture here. Insert image. I'm going to upload a picture from, remember that button we made earlier? Let's say that we wanted to make that change. So now I've added a picture on the first slide. We're going to go back to our web page. I'm going to refresh. And there it is. I didn't have to add it to the web page. It's linked to this. So if I could take it off, and I could type something else in here. All right. And now if we go back, we refresh, it's linked. Right? So if you make a mistake, it's a very quick and easy way to put something on your website. You can do the same thing with your Facebook page. You could do the same thing with a Canva design. So let's say that I wanted to link to, I've never tried a video. I'm willing to try it. Why not? Let's say that I want to share this video. Embed. We're going to copy that code. Now we're going to go back to our page. I'm going to add another column. I'm going to edit it. Remember, I've got to click source so that it knows that I'm adding code. I'm going to have this run just for a couple of days. Or click save. Oh, I didn't name it. Let's name it. We activate it, view the website, and sure enough, there it is. And there's our video. And it's housed in Canva. You can also embed, let's use, for example, right now that we're looking for another board member. If you go to the school board page, I embedded a Google form at the very bottom, so the interested parties can fill out the form right then and there. You can embed the Google Sheets calendar that I typically send out at the beginning of every school year. That can be embedded. It's very easy. I have instructions on that at the very bottom of this document. So we have how to embed the Google Sheets calendar there. All right, and so that concludes the quick rundown of how to use the column component. Next, let's look at the horizontal picture series. All right, so this next section we're going to cover in creating the horizontal picture series component on a web page. Before that, let me show you examples of some horizontal picture series components. This is a horizontal picture series component. You can add up to 6 pictures in a row that will appear side by side. Typically, because we're Gadsden, we would be using just the 2 pictures. So you can do anywhere from 1 to 6 pictures using this component. The calendar at the bottom, this is also a horizontal picture series. As you can tell, I use it a lot because instead of putting a picture inside of a column component and then worrying about the size, it makes it very easy. I think you'll agree. So for example, this is a horizontal picture series, one with the picture, when I click it, it opens up the calendar in English. And then if I click it here, it opens up the calendar in Spanish. So let's dive into it. I'm on the back side of our Sandbox 3. I've already added the component and I'm going to go ahead and name it. I'm going to add my name to it. Typically, you would use a descriptive title. And what I mean by that, like if this was for graduation, I would add something to that effect. I'm not going to stress about the capitalization there because only we see these titles. Only anybody who's a manager sees these titles. So let's explore this component. We see picture 1. You could add the picture here. This is where you would add your ADA compliant alt tag, telling them what the picture is. So this is somebody who cannot see or can't see very well. The computer will read the description of the picture for them. You can add a caption that is visible to everybody. Typically, I don't add it. And then here you can add a hyperlink so that when they click the picture, it takes them to this web page. So that's picture 1. And it's the same thing for 6 more. So there's picture 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, you can schedule this to turn on and turn off at a specified date. And you can also mess with the colors. I've never changed the background colors on any of them. So let me show you how easy it is. I like this feature more than components if it's just going to be a picture that I want them to click to go somewhere, because I don't have to upload it to my photo document drawer, my photo drawer first. So I'm going to click here. And remember, we uploaded that picture earlier of the GISD buttons. So there's that pink week. Now, I'm going to write a descriptive alt tag. I'm just using my imagination. Let's say that button, we want it to open up some sort of sign up for volunteers that are going to be working at your school. As an example, for right now, we're going to have it open the same graduation folder we did earlier by placing this there. And then I'm not going to add a caption to that one. And what I want to show you is what it looks like when you add 6 buttons. So if this was your theme, and one more, I'm going to click save. Yes. It's not letting me save it without the ADA compliant alt tag. Good for that website. It should not let me skip that step. So let's take a look at that. What did I do wrong? I forgot to turn it on. Let's go back. I'm going to click the eye. And there are my buttons. They're floating on the white background. If it were a different colored background, we still wouldn't see the square because we downloaded it with a transparent background. So let's go and edit this. Oh yeah, so this one should work. If I click it, it opens up that graduation folder just like it should. This one doesn't because we only added the link to there. But let's say we wanted this to open up our document. So I'm going to copy the URL that we had earlier. I'm going to edit this component so that picture number 2 opens up a PDF. So there's picture 1, picture 2. I'm going to paste that PDF URL. And now I can go to website. And when I click the second pink week, it opens up my document. It's very useful. Okay, so that's basically how to do a horizontal picture series. Remember, you don't have to do 6 pictures. It can be like I do often, just 2 pictures, the English and Spanish. This one's also hyperlinked, so if they click it, it opens up the Google form for signing up. All right, it's a very versatile, very easy component to use. Next, we're going to go into, and I'm going to show you how to use the Spotlight component, which is really, really fun. Thanks. Okay, so now we're going to work with a different component. We're going to navigate over to our Sandbox page that we've been working on, and we're going to work with the Spotlight component. Earlier, I already added that component here, but we didn't name it. So I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to use my name. You would use a descriptive title typically, but for this example, I'm going to put my name. And now I can upload a picture, or I can choose an existing picture. So remember, let's start with the end in mind. I should have gone here first. I'm going to duplicate this tab because I want to show you what I'm going for. On our main page, the Spotlight component is this right here. And I have it set so that every 7 seconds it will scroll, it'll carousel to the next image. I'm impatient, so I'm not going to wait. You can add titles, a paragraph, and even a hot link, a button. So right here, your journey starts here. If they click this, it opens up the registration page. There's lots of uses. You can add titles and descriptions, or you can simply just feature your photo. So let's show you how to do that. It's super easy. It's just like adding an attachment to an email. If I click here, I have access to my computer, and I'm going to upload some graduation photos from Chaparral High School. I'm going to upload 3 of them. There's 1. There's 2. I know what you're thinking. What about that alt text? We're going to get there. I promise. All right. So we have 3 images. Now it wants us to add the alt text, and AI will generate suggestions. I'm going to let's just pretend that no changes need to be made. You want to prove freedom, and you want to, sort of tailor it to the photo. But just for time's sake, I'm going to say that it is a good AI description. Now, I uploaded directly from my desktop, from my computer. If I wanted these pictures to also be saved to a folder, I could check them, and I could tell it to save it to a folder. I'm going to save it to the counselor's page. Surprise, Miss 40, I saved some photos. So now those photos are also going to be saved in that folder. This could help you clear up some space on your desktop, because now you could delete those photos knowing that they're on the web page. You can make some adjustments to the transition, the layout, the size of your font. If you wanted to add a title font, I think we're going to change the size. We're going to go to 35, and then the paragraph is going to be at 24, and we're going to hit save. Actually, we'll come back to that. I'm going to hit save. Here's the Spotlight. I'm going to move it to the top of our page, and I'm going to turn it on. This component, you cannot schedule. Yeah, so I'm going to turn it on. It's taking a little bit longer because it's having to upload those 3 photos. Now, this feature you really want to save for when you have high quality photos, because it does such a good job of displaying it prominently that you want them to look, you don't want to use maybe a photo that's not that great quality. So there's the 3 photos that we have. I want to go back to edit this component, and let's add some titles and add a button. So let's say on this one, I want to add a title. I can just click the edit button, and I can type the word. And then all right, I could add a button. So let's say I wanted to click here to see more. And then I could paste, let's get this URL here. And we're going to save that. So now, this horizontal picture this spotlight picture has a title, has a great choice of words here, and it has a button that they can click to view more photos. Right? And that's basically it for the spotlight photo component. It's a great way to feature and really, show off school events in a nice professional format. I hope that's helpful. All right, we're nearing the end of this training, and now it's your turn to try out each of the components that I've covered. You're going to start out by creating the well, actually, it doesn't matter which one you do first. So let's say you start with the horizontal picture series. You're going to name it with your name. For example, I named mine Carmona's horizontal picture series. You're going to upload at least 2 photos, making sure that you add the ADA. It's not really a caption. Let's change that word. It's actually an alt tagline. And then also we're going to add a regular caption, and you're going to schedule it to turn off a week from now. That's how I'm going to know that you understand how to create that. Then you're going to create a column component. Again, you're going to name it with your name, so like Carmona's column. And you're going to add 2 bootstrap buttons that take the public to these 2 websites. I'm just giving these as examples. The first one's going to open up, and it'll take them to my communications site. And the second one will take them to the smug mug for the district. So you're going to add 2 buttons. You're also going to add a photo inside one of the columns, and you're going to schedule it to turn off a week from now. And then with the spotlight, you'll do the same thing. You'll name it with your name and spotlight, and you're going to add a photo that you can access. And I've got the link there to SmugMug, so you can just download one of these photos. And then you're going to add a visible caption with the message of your choice, and you're going to schedule it to turn off in a week. I want you to add a button, and remember to rename that button. When you're done with those, go ahead and email me saying, I've completed the training. Can you take a look? And let me know what Sandbox page you worked on. So what do I mean? Well, if you're at a campus, we will have created a Sandbox area in your school. So here, I'm going to sign in to North Valley. So if I'm at North Valley Elementary, I would go to Pages, and there's a Sandbox page. And this is where you would create your components that are not visible to the public. This is the safe place to play with the website. You would just email me and let me know that you're done with that. If you're at the district level and you work for a department, you would simply go to the district site, and on your dashboard in Pages, you will find a Sandbox section. Just let me know which of these Sandbox sections you worked in. So let's say you worked in 2. You would add your component and name it with your name. Once you're done with all 3 components, go ahead and email me, and we can work on a follow-up training if you need it, or it just helps me know who's completed the training. I hope this training was helpful. Remember, I'm here to help. Consider me an ally. I work best with texts. So if you're working on something and you hit a snag, send me a text. Chances are I might be able to just pause what I'm doing and jump on a Google Meets or meet with you and help you. I find that is the most valuable, sort of the best time to learn how to do something is when you have a concrete task that you need done. So for example, I need to get this menu on my website. How do I do it? Do I use the columns component, the horizontal picture series, or do I embed? Give me a call or send me a text. I appreciate it. Thank you.